What life pro tip have you learned from Reddit that you still use every time the situation presents itself? A Redditor once remarked on how he realized how much he didn't know about a topic he was really passionate about. He then said something along the lines of reserving our judgment for things we know very little about, like stuff that's covered in the news, etc. I've taken that advice to heart and become less judgmental about things I don't know very much about. It's made me less angry, less depressed, and less skeptical about the world in general. When microwaving food, casserole, pasta, etc., make it in the shape of a ring or a donut. Basically have it hollowed out in the middle. It heats up significantly quicker and more evenly. If you're afraid to check your bank account, check your bank account. Not filing in the to field in an email until I am completely done with the email saved me a lot of badly written emails, half-finished emails, and emails I never sent because I had time to think better of it. I know it was on Reddit and I am not sure if it was a LPT, but you judge others by their actions and yourself by your intentions. Really put things into perspective when I thought of why people do the things they do and how they perceive what I do. The comma and period keys move YouTube videos one frame backward and forward, respectively. When you are trying to resolve an issue where someone else made an error, put the focus on the error and not the person. Example of this that I use almost every day at work. Someone sends me an email without the attachment. Instead of saying, "You didn't send the attachment," I say, "The attachment didn't come through. Please try sending it again." It doesn't seem like a huge deal, but people are more likely to become defensive or hostile when you blame them, even if it was their fault. It has saved me a lot of headaches at work. If you keep a baseball bat in your car for protection, put a sock over it. If they grab the bat, they will only get the sock, and you will get another swing. Put a baseball glove in your car too. Your lawyer will thank you if this goes to court because you defended yourself with a bat. I read this somewhere else. The advice I read one time: don't put it down, put it away. It has reduced the clutter in my home dramatically. When I am walking on a sidewalk approaching a group of people heading towards me, I slow down to a pace slower than theirs so they make room for me to pass. Someone on Reddit described how people subconsciously yield to whoever is going more slowly. Generally works. Not making fun of people's laugh. I've literally seen the joy leave a person's face after making a joke about someone's laugh. Makes me sad thinking about it. I laugh like the girl on Hot Fuzz, but with a pitch like B. Arthur. It's so dickish when someone makes fun of it because I was having a good time for a second. My favorite has been if I'm planning on buying something but last minute decide against it, still take the money and put it in savings. Even if it's $5 to $10, I was ready to spend the money anyways, so why not save it? This has really helped me build up a small savings in the last year. I avoid awkward hallway scuffles by looking at the direction I want to go. It works every single time. I read this, not on Reddit but on a Frank Ocean message board. Totally random, I know. It definitely works and I use it all the time. I live in Brooklyn. Walking down the street can be like playing football. This solves all those awkward moments. Using pistachio shells to open the really hard to open pistachios. It's fine to add an explanation after an apology. However, do not preface it with "but" because then it just sounds like you are trying to make excuses. Blink eyes rapidly for a minute before bed to tire yourself out. If this is real, then this is a game changer. Instead of saying "I know," say "you're right." Leia, I love you. Han, you're right. I look at my gas gauge to see on which side the tank lid is. Every time. I've had this car for quite some time. Thanks, Reddit. Taking something with me that belongs on the other floor every time I go upstairs or downstairs makes tidying up more efficient. In the restaurant business, we call this full hands in, full hands out. Never enter or leave the kitchen without something that belongs wherever you're going. Works in a lot of situations. Saran wrap, cling wrap goes in your freezer. That makes the product actually work. It's only been used once, but when you're caught in a riptide, swim parallel to shore, not directly forwards in order to escape. About a week ago my brother and I were out in the ocean, and a wave crashed over us. My hair was plastered to my face and I couldn't see. In the time that I took to get the hair out of my eyes, we realized we had been pushed out and couldn't touch the ground at all. We were getting further and further from shore. We were struggling for about 20 minutes against the current until he remembered that LPT and we both swam sideways like crazy. My cousin had luckily alerted our uncle and he was able to get us back in once we could touch the ground again. Thanks, Reddit. Got caught in one when I was a teenager, with a few other friends. I knew this LPT but in panic mode, I completely forgot it. I swam towards the shore, just felt like I was swimming backwards. I thought I was gonna drown but luckily I made it out, completely exhausted and collapsed when I made it to shore. It was scarier than a day at the beach as any right to be. On the topic of big goals, someone on our AskReddit said to focus on the path in front of you rather than the top of the mountain. This has helped me complete small but necessary daily tasks like homework and whatnot. Always go see a movie and then get dinner so you can talk about the movie afterwards. I love it. It makes me way more comfortable on dates. Wiping the water off of my body with my hands in the shower before getting out and towel drying. Adding on to this, I squeegee myself and then dry off with a towel while still standing in the tub. Saves a lot of water on the floor. Then I dry my feet as I step out, and my rug stays dry. Being secretive about winning the lottery can save your life and potentially others. Never claim large lottery winnings yourself. Set up a trust or company, or get a lawyer to do it for you. Claim the lottery winnings as the trust company. No one will be able to know you won the lottery unless you tell them. And most importantly, just don't tell anyone. Or, no, don't play the lottery. Check the pressure in your spare tire and know how to use the jack before going on a trip. I always forget about this when filling my tires. I have 3 extra minutes of air. If you are nervous about any kind of public speaking, volunteer to go first. You get it done and over with quickly. You are able to relax for the rest of the class, conference or what have you, and most importantly your audience, depending on the setting, is too worried about their own presentation speech to care about yours. I also paired this with advice to bring visual aids. Example being I needed to explain why my state is unique. So I brought photos for each table to pass and shots of maple syrup. Pretty sure only the facilitator was looking at me the entire time everyone else was busy looking at photos and taking shots of maple syrup. Setting a timer for 10 minutes every time I walk through the front door to clean tidy. Stops it building up and goes really quick so doesn't feel like a chore. Putting Reddit up instead of Reddit and the URL makes the subreddit of your choosing a slideshow. Extremely useful if you need both hands free for stuff. Can't believe I went 28 years of my life before finally learning this on Reddit. If you spread your cheeks as you sit down, you have a lot less wiping to do. My wife thinks it's super weird that I've always done this. I remember reading a thread about signs that someone is interested in you. I remember clearly that they'll look at you if they see or hear something funny. It helped me resolve exactly one potentially uncomfortable situation in my life, making it by far the most useful advice I have ever gotten from Reddit. When the power goes out, search for Wi-Fi networks on your phone to see if everyone's power is out. Except don't look my way. Got my modem and router on the UPS. If something takes less than 15 minutes, just do it right now instead of putting it off. I'm lazy as frick if left to my own devices, and this has helped me become a better housekeeper and be much more productive. When giving advice, use the phrase perhaps in replacement of I think so it comes off more as a suggestion and not an opinion. It will be more likely to be heard and taken into consideration. Perhaps therefore I am. If you're at a large park or event with your kids, take a picture of them just as you walk in the door. If by some chance they get lost, you have a picture that shows exactly what they look like and what they were wearing. If you get lightheaded a lot when standing up, make it a habit to clench your abs every time you stand up. It sounds weird but it works. I subconsciously do it all the time now. Instead of saying I assumed, say I was under the impression. It legitimately works wonders. I tried this at my work. My boss responded, you're under the wrong frickin' impression, bud. I had writer's block for the longest time. What got me out of it was one piece of advice that can work for nearly anything. Write one sentence and see where it goes. Don't overthink it or criticize the ideas, just jump in and do it. It really works, and some of my best writing came from using that technique. Letting the plot write itself and break away from my initial ideas of how I thought it was supposed to go. It can apply to anything. Just one step, one phone call, one new accomplishment outside of your comfort zone. Jump in and get going. This reminds me of an overpriced poster flag that says, in Cliché Helvetica, create something today even if it sucks. I tend to abandon most projects due to perfectionism, and this mantra has helped me a lot. I'm pretty sure it was a LPT, might have been an AskReddit response, but it was in relation to a 6-second rule. Have to get something done and don't want to start it? Count down from 6 and force yourself to do it. I have no idea why it works, or why the number 6 was chosen, but I applied it to the menial tasks in my life I don't want to do, and it's worked extremely well. I figured this out when I was young and didn't want to get out of bed for school. Never thought of applying it to other things, though. Open a bag of chips and roll the bottom in so it creates its own self-standing bowl. People are always impressed. I'm the life of the party with this one. Get a dashcam. Fortunately, I haven't had to use it to defend myself, but the thought of not having it when I need it brings me absolute anxiety now. There have been a few instances where I've almost hit idiot drunk pedestrians, and if I didn't have that dashcam running, I would have been very screwed if I did hit them and they lawyered up. Knowing that I have a dashcam running also improves my motorist habit significantly. Keep the music down, obey the speed laws, don't use the phone, no evasive lane changes, and no speeding up to try and beat a yellow light where I obviously won't. With the dashcam, I drive like there's an insurance broker riding shotgun and a jury in the back seat. If someone won't shut up, drop something. They'll pause when you go to pick it up. Use that opportunity to speak as you pick up whatever you dropped. When I buy ice cream, I enclose it in an airtight plastic bag after I open it. This keeps the ice cream soft. Pre-tangling your headphones. Grab both ends with one hand, your finger in the middle, pull tight and twist approx 9 times, then let them naturally curl up and make sure you don't run anything through the loop when you slide them in your pocket. When you take them out, they may look tangled, but will unravel perfectly. When you have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, close one eye until after you finish peeing and turn off the bathroom light. The eye that was closed will be able to see in the darkness, and you will be able to get back to your room without stubbing your toe or tripping. Or just leave the light off and sit down to pee. No blindness, no mess. Don't make the mistake of thinking that, for better or worse, things are always going to be there right now. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.